What does the name mean? That's what is driving people crazy in this story, or the beginning of what is. Because it gets even weirder. This is the newest streaming extravaganza that is amazing and never made it to theaters. And the title is An Enigma.
A total absolute mystery if you don't know what that means.
They know what that means.
Maybe not. I don't know.
All right, it's called Dollakin, and the ideas in it are rather interesting, and the backstory that comes with it all. Do you want to do the honors of giving us the premise?
Yes, I'll jump in here. What we are talking about is a super weird Victorian combination of The Matrix, Inception, and Dune. That sounds like an impossibility, but it's not. The short story that sets up this universe, which has its own lore, I'll get into that, is mysteriously called Dollakin, and we don't know exactly what that refers to or who, but it's on the tongues of everyone in the upper crust society of the city when the story opens. And it's like, you have to somehow have someone help you to get to Dollakin, or to use Dollakin, or to meet Dollakin. You can't just find it on your own. And it's extremely mysterious. So mysterious that it is driving these rich guys mad that they don't get to know. And then we as the audience, we don't get to know either. And it's just killing us. When eventually the characters discover what's going on, the story switches gears to add more mystery to the scenario.
Even more mystery? Yeah, it has layers. The real short story is very old and visionary, but it has been recast in a form by Henry Gassel Neston, and we'll show you where you can find it to read.
Here's what happens. Some people in this Victorian London sort of society, they hook into this dangerous thing called lantern, which at first we think could be a drug, or maybe a secret society cult all on its own. We don't know. But it turns out it is literally a strange new kind of lantern device. People who are in the know, they get hold of this thing, and then they gather in small groups and they surround it and turn it on, and the machine projects images straight into their minds, and they pass out and experience a story as if they were there. And this is an 1800s kind of world, so this experience is so unusual and amazing and transformative that people can barely handle it, but they keep it a secret. They just pass these lanterns around to other wealthy elites, and for a while only knowing someone will get you to the device. And the stories that unspool with the device become utterly fascinating and hypnotic and even addictive to those who experience them. And in this projected realm, this virtual reality of dreams, they too are wondering what Dollakin is or what it means. It seems key to unlocking several genre mysteries in the lantern world, which they call Lantern In, so that if you're awake and alive in the so-called real world that is referred to as Lantern Out. But over time, the lantern proves so popular and overwhelming, these rich capitalists start to figure out they start vying to make it a business and make lanterns for the whole world to use. This brings in issues of industrial revolution, exploitations and imperialism, but also, the Opium Wars, which in real life is pretty fascinating history on its own.
Remember when the imperialists of England and America forced China to take opium to keep up the opium trade? Yeah, it's amazing. Well, this figures into that.
Do we go into the mining of the stuff, or leave that out as a spoiler, do you think?
It's not a spoiler. Eventually, we learn that the lantern depends upon a waxy material that has to be mined, and pretty soon, you've got miners and capitalists in conflict, among other things.
But the crux of the story is, a real girl goes missing, and the question is, how the hell did it happen? Has something from this Dollakin world influenced the real world to that degree?
And you start to wonder if the lantern is a creation of the devil, literally.
Think about how important stories would have been in general back centuries ago. This way not only of conveying information but also escape, this incredible doorway into other places. I mean, entertainment is something we definitely take for granted in the modern world, but it was deeply sought after in the human past, and thinking about what people would do if they could disappear into a world for a while, that was a little like an opium drug stupor that put you to sleep and then you were in that place.
It's kind of amazing. And it's a pretty rich backdrop of characters, from the domestic help to the wealthy to the miners, to the characters within the strange lantern in world.
I know there are not a ton of people who will get this reference maybe, but it reminds me just a bit of Germinal, or those movies and books about miners and the desperate poverty of the 1800s and how dependent everyone was on the wealthy industrial barons for work. But in this, the rich people themselves are dependent, like totally dependent, to, of all things, the storytellers, the secret guild that is creating the lantern stories. They are addicted to the worlds that are created in the lantern, realm. I love that. Literally addicted to story.
And that doesn't even get into the behind-the-scenes lore that streamingutopia.com always goes into. See, people, the story that it's based on has been lost to history in our world, literally, and this guy, Henry Gassel Neston, has recreated it based on people's memories of it. And so that's what we have, but that story, by rumor at least, was what inspired Thomas Edison to make the original movie projector, to create film itself. And the Lumiere brothers, they both read it. The story got them thinking. They say it made them obsessed with creating the reality of the lantern. So it's really a fairly rich, history and lore to dive into. That's why I say, and I'm not the only one, that's why people say it's a bit like Dune, because there is a lot going on.
Well, they call it a steampunk matrix, so now you have all the references in there, but it's pretty unique on its own. Check it out and debate what the hell you think is going on, because it really is layered with mystery, layer
In
and
fact,
layer.
I don't remember ever seeing a movie where the characters are all wrapped up in it, but we, the audience, and the characters actually have no idea what they are. Actually going after, what is it that the characters are dealing with? Is it an object? Is it a person? Is it a realm, a cult, a movement? It would be a fun thing to show to people who know nothing about the story whatsoever.
Yes. So the film version on streaming is now running on the secret menu. You have to ask for it. Dollakin, streamingutopia.com has all the details. That's it for now. Thanks for your time.